Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning, top of the morning. We're here in sunny California. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. Yes, that's how we do it around here. Y'all know me. Nothing but straight talk. We have a wonderful show for you today. My co-host is none other than Mr. Keith Swanson. He's still the AI man. They haven't found him yet. They keep saying, I believe he's AI. Is Keith really real? You got
I'm just waiting to be uploaded. That's all.
Keith is real. You're going to see him at the Black Writers on Tour Plus Business and Tech Expo this April, Saturday, 26th. He'll be there from 10 to 3 p.m. He was there last year. Nobody caught him. His voice doesn't change. I said, if you catch him, bring it to me. You had money on the table, but nobody got it. I don't believe you all. Keith, how you doing this morning?
I am doing well, Dr. Rosie. How are you?
I'm wonderful. My other co-host is Miss Shawannah Bordenave. I don't know, Keith, is she on today?
I haven't heard her voice yet. So
your girl is probably out selling houses. She's the real estate guru.
She's shaking her moneymaker. Let's put it that
That's
way.
Right. She buy houses, she sell houses, she flip houses, she does everything to houses. Since she's not on, I'm gonna talk about it. I hope she clean houses. I'm just talking. I'm gonna go out there and see what that house looks like. She paying people now.
She's paying people now. The girl's a little long in the tooth. She said, I'm not doing that no more. Okay.
Gone Valley girl. Well, you guys, we have a wonderful guest and we have a wonderful topic. First, I'll tell you my guest is none other than Miss Anna Queen Tutt. She's a tax consultant, speaker, trainer, and real estate broker, and she is on fire she's a generational strategy specialist. She believes in leaving something for the next generation. She does seminars at churches, schools. She's like Harry Tubman. Any place they will gather a crowd and let her talk. Anna Tutt is talking about generational wealth, and she's the one to talk about being someone in real estate who understands what this real estate, what ownership is all about, and what it is not about if you don't have. Good morning, Anne. How are you?
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction that you've given me. I love that, the Harriet Tubman. Okay, I'm going to use that.
That's who you are. You're trying to save them. You're trying to ring them on in. Ring them on in. Absolutely. So you guys, today our topic, is urgent message to non-homeowner parents. What you must do now to keep your child or children from ending up homeless. The game is rigged, and your child is the next victim. So let's get real. If you are a parent and don't own a home, you may be setting your child up for life of instability, eviction notice, and yet homelessness. Why? Because in America today, let me back up, you guys. You know, today I'm coming in hot with a message some of you may not want to hear, but you need to. If you are a parent and you don't own property, I need you to understand something. Your child is in danger. We're living in a time when you need to make 3 times the rent to justify you getting an apartment or a house for rent. And let me ask you, how many of your young people are making that much money? Even those with degrees, even those working 2 jobs, most times not making 3 times what the rent is. So let me ask you this question. If you don't have perfect credit, listen, denied. Laid off for a few months, denied. And our guest's going to tell you about that. You're laid off and trying to get approved for a house. You just got laid off. Okay. Trying to rent with Section 8 voucher, denied. Meanwhile, folks, prices are going up. Opportunities are drying up. And our children are getting locked out and set up for homelessness. That's kind of cute. Let me say that again. That kind of matching. I'm a little poetic today. Meanwhile, prices are going up, opportunities are drying up, and our children are getting locked out and set up for homelessness. So it's time to stop playing. You don't have time to be playing out here like your kids. Okay, I got them age. You know, I live in a high-end community. My mortgage is only $4,500 a month. Yeah, right. I hear you. Can 2 of your kids put together pay? Okay. It's time to talk about why our people, talk to my black folks now, are most vulnerable. And what you as a parent must do now to change that. So, folks, the utter truth behind the housing system, we're going to look at it. Why renting keep you broke and homeless. Anna can tell you about that. What you must teach your child today and how to create generational wealth now. Folks, I know you don't want to hear this because I know you want to think that things are okay. My children are going to be well. I think so many people in a coma state, as we talk off the air, and I think Keith brought up the fact that a lot of people don't know and don't want to know. Don't know and don't want to know the real truth. I think when you really wake up to the real truth of really what's going on, it could make you paranoid. It's making some people suicidal. It's doing a whole lot of things to people right now. So I'm worried about the future. I'm worried about the next generation. I don't know about you. Is your house paid off? Will your child move into your house? Will the taxes go up when you leave here? So, folks, yeah, we in for a ride today. We in for a ride. It's a good ride. May not feel good, but it's good talk. Would your children be homeless? Now, Miss Anna, real estate person for years, sell houses. In one of her seminars, she goes across this country telling people, don't sell Big Mama's house.
Yes.
But so Big Mama got to think about how much do I own this house? How much money do my kids make? If they're not making enough, are you going to tell them don't sell it, rent a room, or 2 of you move in together? We talking real talk. You need to have these conversations. You are the one who know the financial condition of your family. You have 5 kids, they're all renting, all paying $2,000 a month. You're leaving here with a 3-bedroom house. Y'all better put 2 beds to a room, jump up in there. Come on, talk to me, Anna, real estate girl, talk to me.
Yes, Dr. Rosie, you're right. We have to have those uncomfortable conversations. We don't have those uncomfortable conversations. We need to have financial wealth conversations around the dinner table. I started Soul Food Sunday when I was the president of Consolidated Board of Realtors, where we sat around the table and we talked about building generational wealth, where it's more informal. So, Big Mama's house, we used to go and have Sunday dinners, right? And we would sit at the table and talk. You wasn't on your phone. So that's what we have to get back to our roots. And you said it. If your your mom, your dad, your grandmother has a property, and if you're not set financially, you're not going to be able to take on that property. Most of the time, everybody want to sell that big mama's house. They want to sell their parents' house, and that's why I'm going around the city. Next is going to be the world telling people don't sell big mama's house. Don't sell your home because you can leave a legacy. I just had a conversation with a tax client yesterday, and she had took her house off the market because interest rates went up, so she couldn't sell it. She went to move closer to her dad, and she's renting a condo, but she's renting out her home. And so I had to tell her, I said, look at here, you don't sell that house. I said, keep the house, let it be a legacy for your children. Put it in a trust. And this is, you guys got to understand, you got to make sure that you are covering and making sure that you're positioning yourself to leave a legacy. Put that home in a trust. You tell your children how you want them to handle this property when you're gone, but the rent that you're receiving is help paying your mortgage and help paying the home that you're living in now. If you sell the property, the home prices are higher, that means your mortgage is going to be higher. So it's changing the mindset. I also want to add, Dr. Rosie, we got to change our mindset. We want to spend money on everything, but we don't want to save. If we look at our community, $1.7 trillion in consumer spending, especially in the Black community. But what do we own? So I always tell people the 70-30 rule. What is the 70-30 rule? You live off only 70% of your money, not 100% of your money. So if I do 10% first, that goes to Tues, 10% to a savings account, 10% to an investment account. So now you're putting money away for an investment. So if I got to take over Big Mama's house and I'm saving, so I got money saved in my investment account to be able to take on that responsibility. But I need everybody to think further. Like you said, the rents are going up. So if you're paying $4,000 in rent, why you can't put $4,000 in a mortgage and that property is going to increase in value. You're going to have equity. But in the rent, you just gave the landlord $4,000 every month, times that times 12, times that times 5, times that times 10. How much have you made them richer when that money can go in your pocket? And when they have the barriers of, I can't afford it, I don't have the money, I tell people like what you just said, and you said all the time, Dr. Rosie, piece up. If I get a 3-bedroom, it's only me, I can rent the other 2 rooms out. I got a friend now, she rent 2 rooms out at $1,800 a month. How much is that? Do the math. So we have to change our mindset and we have to think outside the box. How can I leverage and build generational wealth? But we have to make sure that we have the conversation with our children, with our family. Let's stop spending money. Let's stop going to brunch. We can make our own brunch and we can have brunch at the house. Stop going to these high concerts. You making Beyonce rich for $1,000 ticket when you could have put that in your investment account. So these are just some of the strategies.
Say that again.
You want me to say that again?
Say it again, Black.
You want me to say that again? But wait. I said $1,000 for the ticket, but I didn't even say the outfit because you want to dress and get the cowboy outfit. How much you spent? $500, $200 on the outfit. $1,200 you could have put in your investment account, and you could have invested that money, and that money could have made money for you versus what? Go invest in some Beyonce stocks. Then we talking.
Wow. You said a mouthful because, parents are not having this conversation. Now, we're talking about parents that own a home that's not having this conversation. Your child is, one is maybe just living with you and getting SSI, doing well. They ain't going to pay that house note. But you have another child out there who's renting. So why don't you down around the dining room table talk about how we going to work this when Big Mama die? Yes, listen, folks. Listen up. Listen. You're going to die, okay? So you might as well face it. You don't get a notice. You're not going to get a 3-day notice. Ain't nobody going to send you a warning. This ain't a bill collector. Whether you're ready or not, you're going to leave here. So why don't we face the fact? You need to be saying what you need to do to get
and you got to look, the house that I have, right? I look at it as an insurance policy for my children. Okay.
Yes.
Especially in Los Angeles. Okay. The thing is, no matter what the rent is, no matter what the mortgage is, okay. If I have a house that's free and clear, okay, and they need to work in Los Angeles. They have a house. No matter what happens, they can lose a job. They can do all kinds of stuff. The thing is to guarantee their insurance policy is they will be sheltered no matter what. It's an insurance policy.
You know, it's so interesting that you're saying that now. Let's back up. See, we're talking about what you can do. Don't lose Big Mama house. But no, let me bring you to the real deal. We're talking about homelessness for the next generation. Yeah. We're talking about those parents out there. Now, I understand that 45% of African Americans own their own home. Is that correct, Miss Anna?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
45%,
so that means,
yes.
That means 55% of black folks are buying homes for other people. I'm going to repeat that.
Yes,
That's
it
worth
is.
repeated. 45% of black folks own their own homes. 55% are buying homes for other people. Now, we just finished talking about don't sell Big Mama's house. We talked about all the things that Big Mama can tell her children. You know, you can rent a room. You all moving here together, or rent a house out, because the house rent is so high now because the high cost of buying a house. The houses, the value up high. But, folks, listen, let's drop it down a little bit. My dad used to drive these, what you call these cars when you have stick shift.
Yeah, stick shift.
He would say, let me drop it down now. Or let me drop it down. I'm going up here.
Drop it down.
Let me drop it down.
Downshift.
We talking about Big Mama's house, but I want to stop and pause and talk about Big Mama who didn't have no house. Oh, that's what we talking about today. We talking about renters. We talking about parents who are not homeowners, who have children you're leaving behind. Do you realize what's going to happen to them if you don't start planning now? Wow. Now, it's a struggle enough when Big Mama got something to leave you, but at least if you use what God has given you, 5 senses, if you use that, you can pull together and you can make it work. You can keep from being up on the tent if you use what God has given you. That's common sense. Now, that makes sense. Do you all agree with that?
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yes.
But I'm talking about Big Mama and Little Mama who don't.
Right. Glam mamas now. Glam mamas.
Yeah. Glamour mamas. You know, got your hair down to your knees and your bad eyelashes. Your jewelry down. You have diamonds on the tip of your fingernails. You have your pedicure. It's summertime now, so they're gonna really be showing the toes now. You know, so all you have is a car in your driveway, a closet full of clothes, 15 wigs. Don't write me no notes. See, they gonna be writing me notes. Dr. Milligan, cause you don't have no hair. Don't be talking about us. I don't want none. I got what I need, okay? But I got money in the bank. I have property. I have something to leave for my children. So I'm not bragging because that came with sacrifice. Because I didn't do all those things. I didn't have the most expensive car riding down the road. I'm talking about sacrifice because our forefathers did the uttermost sacrifice that we would be able to work on the jobs that we're working on now, to get into the schools we were able to get into, and to have the education that we have. Y'all better learn what sacrifice is for the next generation. So we're talking about what conversation are you having with your children if you don't have a home to leave them? Are you at least telling them you're a piece of, come on now, I don't care how high the property is, it's not, they're not going to make it anymore. Piece up and buy it. You don't have to stay in it. You all can have a tax write-off. And if you guys talk to us, let me get a phone number too. I done got all wound up. People on the call.
Okay.
And I think we have some on. I'm going to take a call and then Anna, I'm going to come back to my guests. You guys can call us here at 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733, or you can email us here. You know you're at work. You don't want nobody to know that you're not working and you listen to us. I know, been there, done that. Then just email us at Inner Light, INNER, Inner Light Radio at yahoo.com. That's innerlightradio at yahoo.com. We're going to take a call, and then we're going to come back, and then you're going to tell us what to do.
Okay.
So I think we have a caller here. Last number is 0480. First number 626. You can open your mic, tell us where you're calling from, and what is your take on the topic. And if you're just listening, I'll go to the next caller. 084.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone. This is a wonderful show, great information. I just had a quick comment. When you talk about peace up, I mean, that is a term that we all need to have on the tip of our tongues. Because like you said, a lot of us don't have the ability to make the kind of income that is now required to even get a rental place. So if the only thing that we have in our power to do right now is to peace up. And I think that's a great thing. And I just wanted to say thank you for that information.
Where are you calling? Where are you calling from? And give us your name and how did you hear about the show?
Well, my name is Brenda, and I live in Monrovia. I heard about your show. I went through a few events that you have done over the years, and so I was familiar with you and your show. So that's how I kind of got involved with listening to the wisdom of Dr. Rosie.
Thank you so much. And you know, let me tell you how the story came about with Peace Up. I know I've said it many times. It was three winos who was sitting at a liquor store, sitting outside the liquor store on a crate box. And they wanted to buy some rippers. So one asked the other man, how much you got on it? One said, I have a quarter. He asked the other one, he said, I have a quarter. Asked the last person, he said, I don't have anything. He said, well, that's okay. We're going to go ahead and we get the ripper, and we all going to share. So they went in the store, bought the ripper, they came back, and they all shared it. Now, if the winos have sense enough to know that they can piece up to buy some ripper, what about us? It's all about piecing up. Now, they took what they had. So you may have a sister or brother who may not have a job, but they can do what? They can cut the yard. They can cut the grass. They can do something. So it's about peace up. So I want you all to pass that word around. It's time to peace up. And Carla, thank you so much.
And Carla, you have to mute your line. Otherwise, you're going to have to drop you.
Okay, we have another call on the board. Give us your name, where you calling from. Go ahead, Carla. Okay.
Hi, Dr. Rosie.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. This is Sherry. I am just calling in. I'm so glad that I hopped on this call. This is such perfect information and so timely. It's crazy right now. We were just talking with some individuals that are renting. The rent that they're paying is a mortgage payment. And just trying to, I'm a realtor, so trying to talk to them about what they're going to do next, because the rents are going to continue to go up, but they don't want to purchase. And it's just crazy that these conversations that you're having with individuals, they don't see the writing on the wall. So I'm glad that we're having these conversations. These need to be daily conversations, especially in our culture.
Absolutely, Sherry. I know you see it all being in real estate. You and Anna, and people keep saying, I've heard so, well, you know what? Well, the interest is high. We're going to wait till it come down. This reminds me of a poster I saw when houses. The first house I bought here in Los Angeles was $25,000, and that house now is like $750,000. But it was a sign during that time that said, when the house was $25,000, there was some people who said, I should have bought then. Then the house got up to $100,000. They said, I should have bought then. Got up to $300,000. I should have bought then. Now it's $750,000. I wished I had bought.
Very few people can time. Very few people can time the market like that. Okay, if you're good at it, you can time the market, and you're probably in the top 5% people that can do that. Then by all means, you know what you're doing. But says most people can't do that. Okay, you get and basically houses. I think people need to buy houses by need and not by how much money I can make.
Exactly.
And for most people, a house is a place to stay, not an investment.
Well, it's interesting.
And you got to change the thinking.
Got to change the thinking. Yeah. The thing is, if you're savvy, this is what I was taught. Okay, if you're savvy enough to flip houses and make money, okay, you know who you are, right? But that's not 90% of people. Okay, 90% of people need to buy a house to live in, not invest in is fine, but to live in.
Keith,
first,
let's say
invest
that.
Go ahead.
And it used to be you all in real estate, but you all in real estate. But Anna, you and Sherry, y'all too young still to know what I'm talking about. When people would buy a house, and they would say, "Well, I need to get 3 bedrooms." They had 2 children, so when company come, when people come from out of town, folks.
Okay.
What I want people to realize, you guys, cut the fat off the bone. It's you don't buy a house with extra room. So when company comes, and let me ask you this question. How many of you have company? Anna, when the last time somebody been to your house? Sherry, when the last time somebody came?
You mean come to stay and spend the night? Yes, to visit. No, you got to buy that extra room you got to look at it as a business. I'm gonna buy that extra room so I can rent it out. I'm gonna buy that extra room so that I can make money from that room, and that's how we have to change the thinking. We buy. I want the ideal house, but no, I want the ideal investment. So how can I build my investment? And once I build my investment, then I can get the ideal house, because they going to help pay for my ideal house, my dream home. And that's why we have to change the thinking, and we have to change the narrative. Because if you can rent out rooms, look at, people don't think about that. They be like, oh, I don't want to live with such and such. No, look here, you better do something, because then you're going to be forced to live with them and not making no money.
Exactly.
And so it's a mentality. We got to change it.
You're going to be forced to live on a tent, let alone
it's better to be sleep on a couch than a tent, okay?
I'd rather be in a room than a tent. And what some people say, one lady said to me, well, the reason I don't want to rent a room because, people are just so terrible. I said, are you terrible? No. I said, are you a good person? Yes. I said, you think you're the only good person that God has on this universe? I said, are you in a club, a social club? Yes. Do you go to church? Yeah. Are all those people bad? Is everybody around you bad? Then hey, let's talk about it. Are you the only good person?
Everybody got a relative. Everybody got a relative that's struggling. Okay, every last one.
Yes,
okay?
Exactly.
There's somebody that that you raised just like you that is struggling. Okay, it can be done.
And then it can be done. And that's where you can, and I think people get scared, say, oh, I don't know that person. You can rent to people you know. There's a lot of people that's struggling. So they will be glad to rent a room from you. And then if you get an ADU, they're going to be glad to rent on your property because they know you. And that's how you maximize your property. And one of the things I want to share is, Dr. Rosie, like you were saying back in the day, back in the day, family members, they pieced up, right? They came from the South, come to California or wherever they migrated. They all was in maybe one home together. And what happened? They built their money up, and then they helped one get their place, then the next. Yeah. But they didn't help them rent. They helped them buy, because why? They understood the need. It's a need. Like what you said, it's a need. They understood the need to buy, not a need to rent, because the landlord can say, you know what, I'm selling my property. Now you have nowhere to go. And that's what we don't think about. And living and renting for 20, 30 years, we have the mentality, oh, I don't want to do any maintenance. But you're doing maintenance at a place that you're renting, and you're not building income. So we look at it with the money. This is how we can change the mindset, like the young lady who shared, who's also an agent. If I go back and I say, if I'm paying getting rent for $1,800 from two people, right? That's $36,000. I mean, that's $3,600 that I'm making every month. I multiply that times 12. That's $43,200 that I made for the year. Then if I look at it for 5 years, I just made $216,000. And if I look at it 10 years, I done made $432,000. Most of us, if we look at it, if I rented for 10 years, how much did you make the landlord rich, right? $432,000. He's almost a millionaire. People want to be a millionaire. This is how you become a millionaire. You change the mindset. My property is a business. So how do I capitalize on that business?
Absolutely. Let me give the number out one more time. That's 310-928-7733. Callers on hold, please mute unless you're coming in to speak. 310-928-7733. That's 310-928-7733. And let me say this, my heart goes out when I think about you. This topic is so dear to me. It really is. The older you get, I guess you become very sensitive and very tearful.
You do.
And I'm in a different place because when I think of the elders who are renting,
Yes.
and if that owner decides to sell that property,
yes,
we're gonna have so many elderly in the street, folks, because there's not enough low-income houses for them. I wish people would understand. These people on fixed income, Social Security, barely make enough money to eat. And if the landlord sells that property, a big mama die and them kids sell that property, you're going to see more of our elders in the street than ever before. So, folks, this show is going to air again tonight, probably at 6 o'clock at innerlightradio.com. Most of my shows are archived on YouTube. I want you on here. I want you to hit your social media. I want you to tell the people and for them to tell their families. Because you're not going to hear this on Channel 5, Channel 2, and Channel 9. I'm talking to my people because I have a heart for the people. They need to get this information that we share on Express Yourself Hour. I was just had a moment to relapse thinking about what's going to happen to our elderly. And we talking about what happened when we have a home, but when we talk about 45% of black folks in this country do not own a home. Let me read this again. We are living in times where you need to make 3 times the rent to justify. And let me ask you, how many of your young people are making that kind of money? 1 bedroom rented for $2,000. How many young people are making $6,000 a month?
But you don't want to live with your with a relative, okay, for a tenth of that price. Come on.
Right. Even those with degrees, Keith. Even those with degrees would not be able to rent a place.
No.
Even those working 2 jobs would not be able to rent a place. And if they don't have perfect credit, denied.
Yep.
They're trying to buy a house, but they've been laid off for a few months. Denied. Okay? So meanwhile, check this out, folks. Prices are going up. Opportunities are drying up. And our children are getting locked out and set up for homelessness unless we make some changes.
Yes.
Go ahead on you guys talking. I just had a moment of, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's basically we don't have to stop being asleep and actually get out and do something. Okay, we haven't done it in 60 years. We're saying
60 years.
Now might be the time.
Wouldn't this be a good topic for Sunday morning? I keep telling these ministers, I'm trying to lay off for them because, it's not many churches that let me in. Okay, it's not many. I've been locked out of so many. But what I tell them, you all preach 52 Sundays a year. 52 Sundays. Your folks are still broke, still divorcing, still the sickest among the sickest. Why can't you bring one Sunday a month to talk about what we're talking about like now?
Right.
Wouldn't it be nice if a minister got up and said, look, how many of you all do not have a home? Well, why don't you all peace up? It don't even have to be family members to peace up.
That's right.
It would be no more land made, folks. Why don't we hear this over the pulpit?
Yeah.
Why don't we hear Proverbs saying, leave an inheritance for your children. How many of you hear that at church? How many of you hear that? Folks, it's time that we put the pressure on everybody, that the pressure needs to be put on to wake up the flock.
Yes.
You guys go ahead.
And,
you know something.
And we have to, and you said something that's very important that people are not thinking about, and that's why I said education is not just talking about investments, but you also got to talk about aging, right? Our seniors, and I'm like you, Dr. Rosie, it breaks my heart to see a senior, they worked so hard, right, all their lives, and now they're displaced. And that's just like heart-wrenching. Like you done served or you done work for a company and now you have nothing. And we don't think about how do we secure and have stability for our seniors. Mm-hmm. And when we're young, this is when we need to start setting ourselves up, because if you start buying properties, and when I say not just one, properties, and you can go to other states to buy properties, but then you're setting yourself up. So when you get older, you have a stability place for you to live, a place that when you get older, you can age in place and not be forced out of your place. And that's something that we have to educate, but we also need to put in place. If I got an Asian parent, I need to make sure I get myself set up, because my mom may have to come live with me, right?
Exactly.
We don't plan for that. And then there's a lot of seniors who do not have any family members or are not stable enough to be able to help them. And that's why we got to change the narrative of stop spending money unwisely. I say it all the time. We go to McDonald's, you go to all these fast food places, and you done made them rich, right? They making billions of trillions of dollars, but you don't have any investments. Instead of investing in Burger King or McDonald's stock, right? Or Target, people go to Target. My grandkids love Target. But we have to change that narrative, because if I want the things that I want to do, my wants, I need to make sure my needs is paying for my wants. So not the other way around, because in that way we set ourselves up for success.
But let's look at this. Let's look at the real picture. We're talking about the parents who do not own a home. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the parents who are leaving their children in the ditch. Mm-hmm. Now, when you leave your children in a ditch, they going to have babies. Lord,
and they're going to be in the ditch.
That's born in the ditch. I'm going to repeat that. Mm-hmm. When you leave your children in the ditch, they're going to have children who are going to be born in the ditch. And how would that cycle ever be broken? Because there would be no more land built here. You guys, this is not a good topic for me today, because I'm really emotional right now. You guys go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that this country and this society has taught us to be what they call atomized individuals, right? Separate entities, individuals. I don't like being around other people. Okay, and the thing is, this is not that time. Okay, there's no reason that your child who's going to be an adult can't be trained to make money and contribute to a household, and you who has the credit can buy the house together.
Yeah.
Because you let her know this is your insurance policy, okay? I know you might not like my rules, and we don't always get along, but guess what, okay? A couch is better than a tent, okay? A room is better than somebody else's couch, okay? The thing is, whether you like me or not, okay, this house can be your insurance policy in case I go. Because what happens if I go? Okay, you're stuck. You're stuck with a child and no place to stay, and at the mercy of the forces that are out there in this world. And this capitalist country is not the nicest thing on the planet. Okay, when the bears are out to eat you. Okay, you have to explain that to your children. Say, I know you don't like me, but the thing is, what's the alternative? This is your insurance policy. This is business. This is not about how you feel or what kind of guy you want to bring over. Or this, that, and the third. Okay, this is business. Okay. And if you're a female, most guys can understand, hey, you know what? This is my insurance policy. This is where I get down. This is where I do things. Hey, unless you can make it better, unless we can come together and find a place and make it better in a different situation, hey, that's what we're going to have to work with. Okay, we can't worry about how it looks or what it looks like on Instagram and Facebook. Hey, this is business. And basically Trump and Musk are telling you, hey, the party's over.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's what they're telling us.
They have said that the party is over. The party is before Biden, before he got in office, he told you party's over. Okay, it's time to get down to business, and we have to start talking about business instead of how I feel. Okay?
Exactly. I think our other co-host Shawannah, I think she has joined us, and I think we have some other callers. Shawannah, are you on here with us?
I am on here, and I am listening to all this stuff.
Hi, Shawannah.
Hi, how are you guys doing today?
What's your take, Shawannah?
You know what, Dr. Rosie? I have my issues with these kids, with these kids that are not doing anything. I just have issues with that. You know, I think that
you have great kids, though, Shawannah.
I do. I train them, and I think that's what we need to do is train our kids. You know, I mean, our kids are living off of us, and you know, they can't live off of us, and that's the problem. You know, we teach our kids to live off of us. And not teach our kids. You know, one thing as growing up, as when I was a child, I used to always feel like, in the beginning, I used to feel like I was unloved, you know. And the reason why I felt like I was unloved is because my mom pushed me out there. You know, I was working at 12, and actually, you know what? She loved me the most because she made me who I am today. And we have to realize that we can't just give our kids everything. We have to make our children who we want them to be, and we can't worry about them when they get to be 40 and 50 years old and what inheritance we're leaving them.
Right.
They should be taking care of mom and dad, and you know, so I have an issue with this. I have an issue with kids that live off of their parents all this time, and then the parents feel like, well, what's going to happen to my kids when I die? That's something that you got to think about. What's going to happen to your kids when you die?
Okay, you guys.
And it shouldn't be your inheritance that you should be worried about. You should be worried about your mindset. We got to teach our children to have the right mindset. Yes, we got to teach our children, you know what, this property is an inheritance that can make a change in your life. If you throw it away, it is gone. It is gone.
Yeah.
But it's not just teaching kids to keep the property. It's teaching kids the value of inheritance, the value of what they need to do in order to become a better individual in the world today. And I think that's what we need to teach.
Let me let the audience know. Let me come in here. You guys are talking to a valley girl, okay? You all talking to a valley girl. I'm talking about Watts girls, okay? I'm talking about folks. I'm talking about folks who didn't have a house to leave to someone. See, back in the day, Shawannah, I mean, you still young, but back in the day, we had something to do. See, that's why we need to talk about the past so this generation can understand where we came from. Back in the day, when I was younger, when school was out, most black kids had a job. If not, they was in. We had MTA. We had all different type of training. Do anybody old enough to remember that? They were not roaming the street and doing nothing. And also during that time, when I graduated here from high school, I can recall maybe 5 Hispanics that was at Jordan High School. It was black and white. It wasn't this diversity that we have now, scrambling everybody trying to get a piece of the bread. So I want black folks to understand the dynamics and the change in demographic and diversity that have taken place that have highly impacted some of these parents who are leaving these kids with nothing. And we have to also encounter, look at racism. It's not the whole thing, but there's some things that have happened, even with the epidemic of the CIA planting drugs in our community. Not out there with you, Valley Girl, but up here. Okay? No, I'm going there. They weren't out there with Valley.
We can go there, Dr. Rosie, but I want to say this, okay? I came from LA. I came from LA.
But you didn't stay
in LA. I came from LA, Dr. Rosie. Okay. I know, but I didn't stay in LA because we taught ourselves.
But let me
because I taught myself.
I want to make a point because I had a guy on my show once. We were talking about children and how they were going to school, Shawannah, and he was saying, well, when I went to school, my parents They examined me before I walked out the door to make how I was dressed. My parents, I let him finish. And when he finished, I said, did you say your parents? There were two of y'all. But we're talking about children who I see come to school that did not come out of a house from a parent. They're in foster care, like 50% of a whole school with kids in foster care. I want black folks to understand the whole picture of what have happened to black folks in this country. But I'm talking about right now, where we are, not where we've been. 55% of black folks do not own homes. So what's going to happen to their children? So I'm saying it's time to educate and eradicate some of this pitifulness that's taking place. So my show today is about what can you do? What are you going to teach the children? Can you go and tell them, look, it doesn't matter where that house is. If it's for sale, if you can afford it, you buy it. People, well, if I can't buy west of Crenshaw, but you can live downtown on Skid Row when you don't have. These are the conversations we got to have. And if the parents are not doing it, what I'm saying to one, it's time for the community to teach, time for the church to teach what the parents are too ignorant to. Am I making sense? To make our community.
Yeah, but I would say the parents aren't ignorant to it. They just didn't learn it.
No,
I think we have to.
Ignorant mean not being exposed and don't know.
Yeah, because it's not being exposed. And unfortunately, we teach our children not to be exposed. Unfortunately, people that you may come from Compton, you may come from Watts, you may come from different areas, but have you moved out of that square? Have you advanced your mind? Have you looked at some YouTube videos that's going to grow you? I mean, we have to teach our kids how to grow, how to think differently, because we only taught one way. And if we stay there, we're going to stay there. We can't expect change without change.
You guys talking to a motivational speaker from the Valley, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Yes. But
let me take a call because me and her go. We're gonna put on some boxing gloves up here in a minute. Somebody bring me some boxing gloves.
When I first met Dr. Rosie told me, "Girl, go look at my book. You think like me." So, Dr. Rosie, I'm from the Valley. You from LA, so we think alike.
I'm from 100.
And you have your school. Why do you have your school, Dr. Rosie? You have your school to teach people.
Exactly.
The difference.
That's right.
To teach people the difference.
Okay, Valley girl, come on. Let's take a call. 310-877-5311. Come on, join us before I have to hurt my co-host. Go ahead, caller. Caller, go ahead and tell us where you're calling from. Somebody have on the board, they said, what percent are blacks in the state of California? 4%. Okay, I hear you.
Right.
Yeah. We're dwindling.
There's so much reason for that. Well, white folks too. Don't just put on black folks. White folks are dwindling too. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, caller. We have a caller. Do you want to chime in? Go ahead, caller. We're waiting for you.
Jump in, caller.
Good morning. Am I that caller?
Yes, you are.
You are now.
Good morning, Rosie. Rosie, this is Anthony. This is the Reverend Captain Anthony Penn.
And how are you?
I'm doing fine. I've been trying to call in since you started this show. And I just get busy, and it takes a lot. But listen, Shawannah out of the Valley, I'm with her. Okay, you start picking on Shawannah. And even though I was raised right here, right now I'm standing on 120th Western. Okay. And when I leave here, I'm probably going to go over on 82nd and Budlong. Is that deep enough in the hood for you?
Yeah,
okay, all right.
Budlong. Ooh, okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So people talking about they don't want to live west of Crenshaw, east of Crenshaw. They better worry about being east of Vermont.
Now it's east of Central now.
They better go to Alameda.
Right.
Alameda,
it costs out here.
Find a spot.
Wherever you can get in is where you need to fit in.
That's
but there's such a multi-pronged issue that you have on the table here. I mean, how we raise our kids, what we expose them to. Do we do consumerism or we do savings? Do we do investment? Do we do stock markets? Do we do, listen, you can go without until you can afford to pay for it and put them credit cards away.
Yes.
All those kinds of things. Do you learn how you can live with your fellow siblings? I had an apartment building. I bought no down payment, 6-unit apartment building, took everything at that time. That was probably my fourth, fifth purchase. It took everything I knew at the time to swing that deal, to get a commercial building with no down payment out of my pocket. And then I told my relatives, listen, I'm getting this from my daughter. She's a year and a half, and when she gets 18, I can give it to her, and her education's paid for. She can sell it. She can continue to collect the rent, blah, 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 blah. Do you know not one person stepped in to make sure I was able to save that building? And my oldest brother made sure that he went off and because I used to be on the fire department. Rosie knows me, so I spent 33 years on the fire department, LA County Fire, and I would specialize in brush fires. I was one of those few black men you see out there jumping out of helicopters. I thought that was a good idea, pre-40. And then all of a sudden I had an epiphany, but that's another story. But here's the thing. He took a rent receipt and went and collected my rent, and I never could catch up on that building after he stole $5,000 worth of rent money, knowing that I had this building for my daughter. Now, that to the side, I let other siblings move in. Do you think they was able to buy shoes, pay their car notes, do everything but pay their brother to make sure I kept that building? And then even with that, I bring another brother in, put him in the apartment with me that I'm living in, and I said, listen, when I come home from dealing with these white folks on the fire department and all those kinds of things, I need some peace and quiet. I need some jazz. I can't do gangster rap. I can't do the language. This is my pre-preaching days. But I was already in the mode that I didn't want to hear the language. I didn't want to hear the B's, H's, M's, none of that. I just need.
You drop off?
Hey, that listen. We
missed about 20. We missed about 20 seconds of what you said.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Go back about 20 seconds. Yeah, go back 20 seconds. You started with the
I was
B's.
walking around in circle. Let me go back about 20 feet.
You left off with the B. Left off with the gangster rap. You left off with the gangster rap.
Okay, yeah. And so I want to come home. I want to come home to peace and quiet. I don't want to come home and listen to all of that. And so that got in the way. Here's my point. If we're going to make investments together, then we're going to have to go back to the basics of how to live together, how to respect space. And we as black folks, we like it noisy for whatever reason. And the only people that don't like it noisy are those that are trying to get something done, and they're trying to use their mental faculties to plan out what they're going to do for the next day, the next week, a year, 3 years from now.
Are you from the Valley? Are you from the Valley?
I grew up with my girlfriend.
The thing with all the earpods and the headphones and stuff like that, you don't have to disturb anybody. You can play as loud as you want.
But I'm
telling you an old story.
But should you? But should you?
You shouldn't. But the thing is, if you want to damage your own ears, that's up to you. But the thing is, you don't have to disturb other people.
Yeah, but the way we teach, the way we need to teach our.
Wait,
but don't get hung up on that. Don't get hung up on that. The things that are going on.
How do you live with people? That's what he's trying to say. Go ahead.
How to live with people. Right. If we're going to make investment with people. That's just one of the issues, because everything that each and every one of you are talking about is right on point. But the question is how do we expose our next generation? Now as a black man, I remember being, yes, ma'am.
You brought a good point. Now you nailed it right home. It's how do we do it to the next generation? That's what this show is all about. When we're saying for the parents who do not own property, how do you teach the next generation, position them so they won't become homeless? So part of that is what you said. You gonna have to live with somebody, buddy, because all you got is an SSI check, and I'm gone.
Yeah,
your job, you do not make 3 times what the rent on today's market is, and I'll be gone. I'm talking about the conversation that we gotta have. This is what this show is about. What do you do now? Maybe you can't buy the house now. But what do you tell the children? Do you tell them, why don't you all go in together? Now, Anna, we have a real estate person on here, and the last time I checked, it's like 7 or 8 people, Anthony, can go on a loan together. You can take that SSI check, that counter check, whatever check is coming in that house.
Go in together and then build equity and then help someone else get another property. And if you have a big enough lot or you have a garage, turn that into a unit. But you can definitely capitalize on it. Go ahead.
You can build up to 2 ADUs on a lot. Okay. If you add land, you can build up to 2 ADUs. Okay. And what I would do, I would just take a big picture of Donald Trump, full size picture of Donald Trump, and put it in the living room. Right. Okay. If you don't get your stuff together, I would. If you don't get your stuff together, that guy's gonna eat your lunch. Okay.
That's good. And
every time you walk in, every time you walk in through the door, put your key in the door, walk through the door, he's gonna be looking at you. Okay. Are you gonna get your stuff together today or what?
Let me read this. Anthony, you guys stay on. I want to sound this off again because I want people to understand how critical this is. When we're looking at 45% of black people own their home, 55% are buying homes for other people. That picture is not good. But look, we're living in times when you need to make 3 times the rent just to qualify. Okay? How many of your young people are making that? Even those with a degree, even those working 2 jobs are making that. So the real thing I want to leave you with is meanwhile prices are going up, opportunities are drying up, and our children are getting locked out and set up for homelessness. That's what I want to leave on your mind. So you may be okay, but is your cousin or your sister kids okay? Or your neighbor kids okay? Or your friend's kids? Or your church members okay? That's what I'm talking about. That's what this show is about. For everybody to go back. Because the have-nots is going to take from your kids who may have. Y'all ain't getting the picture.
But that...
Am I my brother's keeper? That's what I'm talking about.
We are. And I want to put it out there, Dr. Rosie. You know, I talked a lot of stuff today.
Come on.
But I don't want to just talk about it. I want to teach it.
That's right.
I want to show our people, and you can set it up for me. I want to show our people how to make money. That's what we need to teach them, how to make money, how to take care of that parent that you're talking about should leave them some money. They should be able to take care of that parent, too, because a lot of the parents are doing reverse mortgages because they can't do it after they get to a certain age. You know, so we have to teach our children how to get out of the box that we are in. How can we get out of the box? How can we think outside the box? And if you set up something, I will come and I will teach what I learned, because I learned how to get out of the box. And I know each and every one of us can get out of the box. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to say, oh, I have a ceiling on my income. You don't have to have a ceiling on your income. You can remove the ceiling and make your own income.
We fall down. We fall down, but we get up, right, Shawannah?
Right.
And we fall forward,
and that's what we have. Right, and Shawannah is right. That's what we have to do. And what you're saying, Dr. Rosie and the minister, is we got to come together and we got to teach this. And we have to do this 10 times. We got a 10 exit, right? We need a 20 exit right now. What community can I go into? What homes can I go into? What churches can I go into and to teach this? Because if we could teach people how to make money, then they feel a little more empowered, right? But then we teach them how to make money, but we also going to teach them how to handle money. Then how do you handle money to build generational wealth? So that's what we got to do. And I'm with you, Shawannah. Let's do it. We're not going to be talking about this no more.
Okay, let's do it.
We finna get this together, and we're going to get out here and teach you guys. That has been my mission, but now it's to a global. Let's go.
Okay, let me say this. I want to drop this on the audience. Today in our community, it used to be that the children had more education than the parents. The children went away and came back to elevate their parents if they were not at a status where they should be. But today, in America, parents have more education. It's been reversed than the children. The children now are being forced to come home to live with mama instead of bringing mama home to live with them.
Mm-hmm.
So if the children are in this condition and mama passes away and the children and the grandchildren were living with mama, I want you all to understand what I'm saying. The predicament is, and this conversation needs to be heard wherever black folks are gathering.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Whether it's at church, whether it's in their organization, it shouldn't be any event. On a Sunday morning, how many millions of people are sitting quietly listen to the voice of someone that they are giving their full attention. I'm about to cuss, but I'm not. Damn it.
Too late.
Somebody needs to be talking.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs to be carrying this message here. Fact, every church in America, far as I'm concerned, needs to go to YouTube, pull this session, and you ought to play it on Sunday morning. I'm done because we almost out of time. Anthony, I just love you. I'm so glad that you joined our show today. And so I think Anthony would let me come to his church because a lot of these folks don't want me to come through the door. Is Anthony still on the line? Anthony?
I'm still here.
Am I welcome at your church? They done put me out in so many places.
Everybody on this call is welcome to come to my church, and you come as you are. Okay?
Yes.
Because that's what we didn't teach. We taught three-piece suits, and we taught alligator shoes, and we taught Nikes to the new generation, and all these $350 jerseys for some team, and that's a value system, and we need to retweak our value system. My daughter's a doctor, and she drives a 2002 Toyota Camry, and she is a doctor. She has purchased her second property, and I'm so proud of her because she called me one day and she went, "Well, Daddy, how you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm doing fine." She said, "I'm calling because I want to know where you are economically because I'm making plans and I want to make sure that if the day comes, I got to take care of you. I got everything in place."
Absolutely. I know what you said. I know you said hallelujah in the sanctuary. I think we got to call you guys. 9592, go ahead. You've been holding it. We have 6565. Go ahead, jump in. We got a few minutes. Go ahead,
hey, can you hear me? This is Stanley. In my new book, I talk about being able to purchase a property with low income. So I was able to actually go out there and just buy a house outright because I didn't have a lot of money. But I put it in the book. There's ways you go to the bank and you ask about all these different programs for low-income minorities with 1% down. And you just basically, once you qualify, you just find a house that's reasonable enough. And like they said, you may not be able to live west of Crenshaw, but east of Crenshaw ain't too bad either. So
that's right.
It's in my new book.
Wow.
You're right about that. All right, Stanley.
That book going to be on sale at Black Writers on Tour. That's
all
April
right.
26th
Yes.
at the Carson Community Center. We have over 100 authors on the floor, over 50 vendors. It's My Business and Tech Academy. You guys, it's going to be on. I need you all to spread the word. You guys know how much it costs to do all this advertisement, like $250 for 60 seconds. I'm doing that right now, but I need you guys to help out because this is for us. We're asking everybody to start saving. Save $100 to make sure you infuse economics into black business. Come there with at least $100 to spend. This show is going to air again at 6 p.m. I think we have another caller. Caller, go ahead. Go ahead, caller. I think it's 9592. If I didn't call your number right in your own, just jump on right quick.
You got about 2 minutes.
That
Jump
was
in.
9592, Dr. Rosie.
Okay. And you guys, Anna, give your telephone number out because you guys have a lot of programs where they're giving you money, helping first-time buyers. Spread the word. Everybody else is rushing in to getting our money, and our people talk about, they turned me down the last time. Get your black self up. Oh, I didn't mean to say it like that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Dr. Rosie, am I your friend?
Get
Yes, you
yourself
did.
down there, like Dr. Rosie said. So, yes, like Stanley said, there's programs, and that's what people don't understand. There's programs to help you purchase, 1% down. Everybody can do that. That's why I say about the budgeting and changing your mindset. You can do it. Definitely, you can contact me. I'm on all social media channels, Anna Queen Tutt. You can just Google me. I'll pop up. But my phone number is 323-335-9638. Once again, 323-335-9638. But it's about building generational wealth. Don't be afraid.
Yes.
Understand that you can do it. You got to change your mindset. If you can go out there and scrape up some money to go to a $1,000 concert, you can scrape up money to build generational wealth. Black people are resilient. We know how to survive. Look at the history. When the gas was turned off, Mama still knew how to have some hot water. So I want everybody to get out of the mindset of saying I can't. This generation now, you feel so entitled because we're giving you everything. No, it's time that we got to get to it. We got to hustle, but we got to do it together. I can't stress that enough. In this administration, we got to do it together, or else we're going to be behind and we're not going to have nothing. So time out. Time out.
Yeah, Anna said we give them everything. Anna, don't worry about it. They ain't giving them everything because they ain't got no everything to give them right now. They ain't no everything being given.
Dr. Rosie, Dr. Rosie, I also want to put out there's also programs that will give you 20% down. Okay.
Yes.
There's programs that will give you 20% down. They'll want their 20% plus 20% of the equity, but they helped you get the property in the first place. You wouldn't have gotten it without them, so it's okay. So I've helped a lot of my friends and people that I know get that program 20% down.
Yeah.
They bought their first house. It's out there. There's so many different things. Just take advantage. Grow your wealth. That's the main thing, is to grow your wealth.
Because I've heard people say, I ain't going to do that because then they want 20%. Well, hell, you didn't have no
God,
percent.
are you kidding me?
The 20%.
You didn't have 20%.
Right. Something.
Or 100. Yeah, there's
Something.
There's $100,000 programs, $165,000 programs. So yes, you get in and you make it work, and that's what everybody has to understand. You don't have to stay in that state. You get in there, you make it work, you refinance, you get out, boom, and then now you have your properties.
Well, last time I checked, something is better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
I'm gonna repeat that. Something is better than nothing. I'd rather have half of something than to have nothing at all. So it's all about mindset, because you listen to your neighbor. Girl, I wouldn't do that because they go on 20%, but you had no percent. Stop listening to, I ain't going to say that. I don't know why I'm cutting up today. I'm going to say it. Stop listening to fools.
I know. I felt like that, Dr. Rosie.
Discourage you. Stop listening to fools standing on the corner, practicing law, practicing real estate, don't know what they're talking about. Go to the source. It's like they real Humpty Dumpty set on the wall.
Rosie, excuse me for interrupting you, but I'm still stuck on whoever has 20%. Would you give me a call? Because I will give you 20% of the equity if you cover up my down payment, and then I'm an 80% owner.
Yeah.
First time buyers.
Because that puts me into all kind of commercial stuff, apartment buildings, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. So I can go find me a 10-unit building. Someone will come in and give me 20% down on my 10-unit building.
No.
And then they want 20% down when I.
They won't do a 10-unit building.
Yeah, it's not for a building. It's not for a building. He got excited. No, it's for a single family.
You know, don't listen, hold up. Don't play with Anthony. Anthony be out there trying to buy a shopping mall. So let him know this is for residential, because he's a serious investor. He be out there trying to get them all. But listen, you guys, stop listening to fools. I'm serious. Listen, think of this story. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king horses and all the king men could not put Humpty together again. Now the question is this. Why did you go to the king horses? Why did you go to the king men? Wouldn't it make sense that you would have gone to the king? So what I'm saying, go to the right people when you need the right information. That's all I'm saying. Don't be running asking folks who ain't never bought a house going to tell me, girl, look, when I first got married, this minister, our pastor, was wanting to give us a house, Anthony, in Compton. And you know why we didn't take it? Because somebody told, girl, you get that house, people be losing them houses for taxes because they can't pay the taxes. I was young and didn't know any better, and I keep telling them, don't listen to fools. We didn't buy a house. Right. We rented an apartment because we didn't want to lose the house for taxes. Now, how dumb is that? Okay? So, folks, please take me up on it. Go to the right source. Go to the king. Don't go to the king horses. Don't go to the king men. Go to the king when you need information. You need information about real estate, call Anna. Call Shawannah. Call somebody in real estate. Sherry, anybody. Right. If you don't know who to call Consolidated Realty Board. They have all black realtors. Find somebody, get the right information. Stop renting. Go in together, if you can borrow money from somebody to get out of jail. Y'all, I'm rough today. People can put up $5,000 before daybreak to get Junebug out of jail. When he could have stayed all night because they were going to let him out the next day. If you can round up that money to get him. I'm glad this is my show.
Oh, my God.
So I would be put
on fire.
Put my number out there, Dr. Rosie.
You on fire. You on fire.
No, I'm serious. If you can round up that kind of money overnight to get somebody out of jail, but you can't family piece it up to help somebody to buy a piece of property for their down payment. Folks, I'm just saying it's time to get real. I don't want to see babies left in the ditch. I don't want to see this next generation with college degrees sleeping up on the tent. Do you guys hear me?
Yes. It's
Let me get my number out there, Dr. Rosie.
Oh, go ahead.
The clock's on the wall.
Anybody looking for any real estate, any growth, whatever it is that you want, call me. I am here for you. My number is 310-420-9046. Once again, that's 310-420-9046. And this is Shawannah. Go ahead, Dr.
And that's the valley, girl. If y'all want to live and watch like me, call Anna Tutt. Anna, give me your number.
My number, once again, is 323-335-9638. Once again, 323-335-9638. And don't let anything be your barrier of building generational wealth. We can definitely knock that barrier out. We can figure it out, and we can plan with you. And like Shawannah said, there are so many down payment assistance programs. The $20,000, they had a $50,000 that's gone. They got $160,000 now. It's another one that's $100,000. So tap in, take advantage, please.
And when you get that house, make sure you get your living trust. That's what I do.
Yes.
Living trust.
After you close,
when you close that deal, want your next step need to be to put that house in a trust. You guys, the clock on the wall, so that's all. Anthony, I'm just tickle black that you joined us today. I know y'all get tickle black now. Anthony,
you know, Rosie, I still want Shawannah to call me because I want that 20%. I'll pay him back 25.
Have my number again. Write my number down. Call me.
Call me 310 from every other year for the first 10 years. Hold on. Let me get in position.
Give it a number.
310-420-9046. Call me.
Repeat it.
And then also I want to put out there, if you have a property that is in a trust, and you don't have that trust on your insurance policy, you will be mad if something happens. So make sure that trust is on your insurance policy as a beneficiary.
Yeah, they're trying to pull tricks, but they're not going to get away with a lot of that. I'll talk to you about that. But you guys, have a great show. You know, I was just being mean today because I was really feeling, my heart was just kind of heavy because of it's like I see things that I'm wondering if other people see it. I'm thinking that old spiritual, nobody knows the trouble I see but me and Jesus. You guys, open your eyes and see and feel the pain and try to get out here. What you know, try to make sure that somebody else know what you know. Stop keeping knowledge to yourself. Folks, spread the word. It's a dire situation. when 55% of black folks are buying property for other people while their children are going to be sleeping in the street. Folks, I don't like that picture. So you guys have a great day. Sometime next week, go to YouTube and you can get all the other archive. Last week was a hot show, Shawannah. We talked about broke, bitter, and barely touching. You know that when lack of finance, you don't want nobody to touch it. I'm just saying. You guys have a great day.